I watched Red Zone with Scott Hansen. I got his name right finally. I keep calling him Chris, but Scott Hansen, that's my guy.
Chris, why don't you have a seat?
How you doing? All right. Should have a seat over in that chair, please.
Big difference.
Yeah.
Don't want to talk to that guy.
Oh, Lee.
Football.
Can't escape this bullshit.
ESPN, the global leader in sports.
Welcome to the PoP Fantasy Football 2022 Week 14 recap brought to you by PanelsOnPages.com. I'm Jason Nyes, representing the Gotham Rogues. Joining me as usual, representing Run the Justins, Jose Guzman.
Sometimes you just fall asleep at the red light.
Representing Tell 'em Kelly Eats Band-Aids, Dan Mahoney.
Who's on mute?
Hey, I'm New York Mahoney over here.
And representing the 2021 PoP Fantasy Football Champion Brooklyn Dark Knights, PoP Fantasy Football Commissioner Tito Cruz.
The way my season's gone, I might as well be speaking to Chris Hansen.
Oh, no. Mahoney, you there? You alive?
Hey, Mahoney.
I don't know. I think I'm here. I'm here.
I'm over here from Boston. Forget about it.
Oh, good. He's there.
Very good. Very good. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
We
you.
can now, yes.
And we also heard you earlier when you said you were from Boston. Forget about it.
Oh, yeah. I was telling you all where I was from.
Oh my God.
Lobster rolls and such with the gabagools.
So we haven't done a show since our week 9 recap. It is week 14. It's been a month.
Yeah, a lot has changed except for fucking my playoff hopes.
Well, I mean, I don't know if a lot has changed because I feel like we're still kind of in the same place we were 5 weeks ago. You know, some of the
fetal position, crying.
Yeah.
But I feel like if we looked at the projected playoff brackets 5 weeks ago, it would have been about the same. You know, Goat Mary's still a toss-up, but you know, is what it is.
Well, that's the only real difference. Goat had a 5-game winning streak, and Mary had a 5-game losing streak, and now they're neck and neck. So,
ouch.
But yeah, other than that, Lee's lost every game since we last talked.
Yeah. And Lee no longer owns his team.
Yeah. He's lost all the
we had to
games.
give his team away.
He's been fired.
He got Donald
as
Sterling,
commissioner of his team, after some emails leaked.
We
Lee
caught
was
Lee
implicated in a blackface scandal, and we had to remove his team.
Oh,
he's like, no, it's Juggalo paint. It's like, no.
Later tonight on the show, Niles will play the tapes where Lee's dropping the N-word.
please no.
Talking about massage therapists. That's the best Donald Sterling thing. When he's like, yeah, the girls come in and they rub me, and I like it, and it feels great, and it's real good. And they're like, okay, thank you, Mr. Sterling. Anyways, did you cash this check on whatever date? Like, it had nothing to do with the question they had asked him. He's just like on a rant.
At that point, his mind was just gone.
Yeah.
He was a bowl of soup.
I fucking love
A
him.
bowl of racist ass soup. Who let this racist soup own an NBA team? Ridiculous. All right, so that being said, let's catch up on how our teams are doing. Mahoney has our Week 14 scoreboard.
Dun-dun-dun.
Well, my team is doing fucking great. I am riding high on a 5-game win streak. And just this week in a game, I had already locked up my spot in the playoffs. So the app, very kind. The ESPN app was very kind. They were like, if Vetter manages to win 2 games in a row, and Mahoney and Nyes both lose 2 games in a row, and Vetter outscores them by 150 points each week, then he might make the playoffs. So it was like, you got a chance. You got like a 2% chance of making the playoff. It's like, okay. Well, that's not going to happen.
Saying I got a chance.
And so with his 2% chance, he came to town, and I put a beat down on him, 162 to 57.5.
It's really something.
That I think
Fuck your 2%.
that is legit. I think the biggest difference in score that we've ever had in our league.
I mean, it's wild. I was saying the other day in the chat, I was like, I beat Vetter by another week's score. I scored enough points to beat Vetter, and then scored another week's worth of points on top of it, just for like fuck's sake, like why not?
And with that huge contribution from Cook with half a point on your team, I think that was the difference. I think that was the difference in your matchup.
Look at
absolutely.
Trevor Lawrence getting 38 points in your starting
I don't want to
lineup.
talk about. You know how many times I have played that fucker in my lineup and sat him on my bench?
I do know.
Dropped him
A
and
lot.
picked him up.
Yeah.
He was not doing well in the first half of the game. I had decided to start him, and before the game, I had considered dropping him and swapping him out for somebody else because he had a hurt toe and all this nonsense. And in the
Well, he
first
got fucking
half,
folded up last week.
yeah, in the first half, he was at 6 points or something. And I was like, well, shit, this isn't good. But I was so far ahead everywhere else that I was like, whatever. And then I put my phone down when I picked it back up. He had almost 40 points. Evan Ingram had almost 40 points. And I was like, great.
Vetter could have started 3 quarterbacks, all 3 of his quarterbacks, and he still would have lost significantly.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Wow.
It was a statement game for sure. I was disappointed in Cook though, Tito. I was like, okay, I'm buying into this James Cook hype. Like I'd said before the game started, I was like, this week doesn't really count for me, so I can kind of play around, be like, all right, let's roll the dice here. And then he just did not come through, so I sent him right back out to waivers.
Vikings with -6 defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe don't play the Vikings defense for the rest of the season.
I know we didn't do a show the week that it happened, but I just want to talk about when I picked up the Cleveland Browns before I played Jose, and then they scored 30 points.
Yeah, what the fuck?
And had I
They were
not
the
picked them
ones
up,
with
I would not have
touchdowns.
beaten Jose.
Yeah, well, that's how it works sometimes. Sometimes you just find the right player.
And it was the Cleveland Browns defense. Who would have thought?
Well,
Sometimes I'm not sure. He had a thought and then he stopped. And I'm not sure if
He's rebooting.
yeah, I'm not sure if the connection stopped or if he was
I
still
checked-
gathering his thoughts.
I checked
some
my
connection
connection.
stuff.
I
don't
checked
know
my
if it's
connection.
I don't know if it's his computer connection or his neural connection, but yeah, something stopped.
I heard that and I started looking to make sure I was still on.
You there, Jose? No.
Oh, he's not.
All right. Well, he'll figure it out. Moving on.
He'll figure it out. So my game was an absolute blowout, but Nice, your game was about as close as it can get. And what a sad. Now again, you have locked up your playoff spot. This game did not matter for you, but a win
Meaningless.
always feels good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so Tad squeaks out with 62 to 60.
It was his kicker on Monday night. And,
Yep.
I was looking pretty good there for a little bit. And
You
then
were.
Nick Folk kicked a fucking field goal from the 60-yard line.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, no. Oh, no. I do like seeing the Tampa Bay defense get -4 for Tad, though, because I had them at one point. And I dropped him, and he picked them up. So I like to see that biting him in the ass. But, wow. What a bunch of losers on my team this week. Besides Patrick
It was
Mahomes.
a rough week for you.
If I had started Deontay Johnson or Michael Gallup or Joshua Palmer, that would have gotten me over the hump because each one of them scored more than most of the people in my starting lineup.
More than stupid DJ Moore.
Stupid ass DJ Moore.
hello.
I was debating.
Hey,
I dropped today. I dropped Cortland Sutton. I had him on the IR spot. He had to come out. I wanted to make a different move. He had to come out of the IR spot, and I was like, all right, well, fuck it. This guy is the 41st wide receiver. I'm sure I can find another Cortland Sutton if I'm never going to play Cortland Sutton for the rest of the season. So like, why is he in my lineup?
Yeah.
Just because I'm still 14 weeks into the season. Like, maybe he'll figure it out. Maybe he'll be worthwhile. No, he won't.
Yeah, because right when Russell Wilson started getting his shit together, he's out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, goodbye.
Throws 3
the bench.
touchdowns, gets knocked out.
Yeah, Russ is cooking, but what he's cooking is scrambled eggs.
Yeah, somebody better cook some fucking smelling salts.
So yeah, this was a tough loss, but ultimately meaningless. So suck it, Tad.
Exactly. Doesn't matter. You already beat him. You already got your playoff spot. Would have been nice. You know, it's always nice to win, but oh well, who cares?
Mm-hmm. Next, who we got?
Now, speaking of, Mel was 11-2, and he started out 0-2. So Mel was on an 11-game win streak.
Oof.
11 weeks
streak,
in a row,
man.
Mel has won. Until he ran into the Jose wall. And
He's like,
Jose
"You know what?
playing spoiler. Again,
playing
a
for
meaningless
next year."
game, but
Motivation. This is motivation for next year. I had to go out on
that's
top.
right.
I had to go out. I had to go out with seeing the team that I drafted play well.
Mhm.
It just sucks that it was week 14 that my team fucking clicked.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck. Like, you know, what I was trying to say was, you know, Keenan Allen had back-to-back double-digit games. But it took week 13, 14 to get him back. You know, Herbert with the fucking cracked ribs.
Hopkins.
Well, yeah, but Hopkins was always a stat. The Hopkins was fine. Hopkins was for the playoff run, expecting Keenan Allen to be there.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Because
Hopkins
look at-
wasn't supposed to be leaned on because I had Justin Jefferson and Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen, right? Because with Keenan Allen, Hopkins, and Jefferson, you say that at the week 1, you're like, damn, he stacked that whiteout.
Right.
Yeah, and then week 1, I don't have 2 of the 3.
Yep.
I get the other
And
guy
you
back
really
week
suffered
6.
in running back to get that stash of wideouts. So
Yes. Yeah, and quarterback because
Yep.
I took Herbert kind of high to make sure I got him because in all my other drafts I wasn't getting Herbert, which thank God
yeah.
because who knows how my other seasons would have turned out if I was leaning on
To
Herbert.
be fair, I did call Herbert a scrub, maybe possibly done in the NFL, but then you look at his numbers and they're pretty fucking good.
He's
You know, those
far
weeks where he
from
gets
that. He
7
just
or
had a
13
cracked rib.
suck. But 29, 29, 25, 21.5, 22.5, 33.
I mean, he's top 10.
Those are
He-
Mahomes numbers on the weeks that he's on.
He's supposed to be in the 30s plus.
Mm-hmm.
But
Aren't
when
we
you
all?
have no receivers and you have a fucking cracked rib, you
And
don't
he hasn't
get it.
been reports that him and his offensive coordinator have been on the same page. Has been surfacing over the past couple of weeks, so that could be a big thing too because he has regressed over last season. I mean, with the weapons he's had on that team for them to be performing the way they have, something isn't right there.
One of my favorite running TikTok themes is Mac Jones yelling at his offensive coordinator. They find
Matt Patricia.
Matt Patricia. They find all the footage, and it's like Mac Jones on the sideline being like, "Stop running the fucking ball. The fucking run game sucks."
Yeah.
Like, so good.
Matt Jones drops the F-bomb. He looked like a
Yeah.
clean-cut kid. I wouldn't expect it.
No, he
Now
sure
he walks in,
does.
he says, "I'm Mac Jones."
I saw him shirtless smoking a cigar, and I was like, that man has never cursed in his life. He doesn't have a hair on his body. All right, where are we going to next?
All right, next up we've got the Kelly bot versus Matt in possibly the most meaningless game of the whole week. Like, nothing to be gained out of this. They both were not going anywhere. They're both like their spot is determined. And Kelly bot pulls out the victory 101-98.
In a pointless game, you fucking pointless game.
Yep. Russell Wilson with 30 points and then a concussion.
Oh, he
Wow.
got rocked.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson
he
was like,
started
guys, I figured it out. And then they turned his mind into like fucking Paw Patrol.
Guys,
He
I forgot
started
what I
out
was gonna
horribly.
tell you.
Like if you saw that game, it was like 21-0 quick. And I was like, oh no, they're gonna pull Wilson. And then things just started clicking, and then his head started clicking, and then they pulled him from the game.
When they drove his head into that turf or the grass, and he came up with just a helmet full of grass and not looking good whatsoever. And then they take him to the blue tent, and it's like, what are you even doing? Just take him back to the fucking locker room. With the way they have been criticized over their concussion protocols this year, just don't even. Like, we all saw it. We all just did our own concussion protocols. Put him in the locker room.
Okay, but what would you have done if they brought Russell Wilson into that blue tent, and then when they folded the blue tent back down, it was Peyton Manning?
Applauded.
Yeah.
Speaking of concussion protocols, I apologize. I'm drawing a blank. Maybe one of you guys remember there was an issue this week with one of the wide receivers where one guy gets knocked.
Oh, in the
senseless.
Patriots game.
Yes,
It was Aguilar. Devontae Parker
and Aguilar,
stumbling all around, and Aguilar
is
was
screaming
like,
at
"We
the
are
ref,
not playing.
look,
Like we are not
look at this
playing."
guy.
Yeah. Yep.
Can't do it.
He was rough after the game too. In his post game interview, he was like, "The NFL needs to figure this shit out." Like, and they do. They do. Like, what the fuck is the point of the spotters if they can't spot that stuff?
The guy stumbling, he looked drunk. He looked like he drank a fifth of vodka and trying to line out at whiteout.
Yeah.
Dare me to drive?
Yeah, he doesn't know what he's trying to do. It's terrible. So good for Aguilar.
That man saved a baby.
Yeah, right?
And saved his teammate, probably.
Yeah. Real life hero, Nelson Aguilar.
Wait, am I getting
not
the
a
story
football
wrong?
hero, but you know.
It was a guy who saved a baby who talked shit about Aguilar, wasn't it?
Yes, that's true.
He was like, I caught that baby like I wasn't Nelson Aguilar.
Exactly.
Where to?
All right, next up,
Vamonos.
The brand new owner running
shit.
Lee's chicken skin duffel bags, J-Pop. J-Pop doing the best he can with a team that hasn't had a waiver pickup since week 2. Like, just a pile of garbage. There's nobody
Did he finally fix that IR spot?
He did finally fix the IR spot, and I do feel bad. Mary had him beaten soundly, 128 to 83.5. But not only does J-Pop have just a collection of trash from Lee, and then Kyler Murray gets injured on what, the third play of the game?
Third play.
Like
non-contact, tears his ACL.
Rolls out his knee. Done
Just
for
a
the
plant
season.
and a turn.
Yep. Like, oof. And J-Pop had, I think, 2 injured guys and 4 people on a bye. That was his bench.
Yeah,
Like,
what
he
the
had
fuck is
nothing
with this
to play with?
late ass bye week? Jesus.
Seriously.
Lee wasn't really planning for that week 14 bye week.
No, Lee wasn't planning for anything since week 2. So yeah, welcome J-Pop. Good luck.
That guy on IR still.
I'm sure that you'll be in the losers bracket, and if you lose, I'll punish Lee. So don't worry about it.
What we're gonna do?
I think you already punished Lee,
We're-
and it backfired.
Well,
yeah, if they lose, I'm gonna make Lee play again next year.
we got to get him back. We got to set it up so that he owns a cow.
Yes, I love that.
We're going to convince his wife to get a cow and bring it home.
Like, that would be hard.
Remember when
Like,
I was like,
Lee's-
Lee, would you be mad?
He's gonna hear this, and he's gonna start sweating and pulling at his collar and be like, don't do that.
Please don't.
He knows we could.
All right, hold on, guys, real quick. Stephen Drake's in the chat. Should I stash Warren or Strong? Also, Pittman or Ayuk? 5
Ayuk.
PPR.
Ayuk.
Definitely
yeah.
Ayuk.
Because with Debo down, Ayuk is the wide receiver. He's Debo now.
And then what's the stash question? I'm not sure about. What is
Warren or Strong? Warren is the Pittsburgh running back. Strong is the Patriots. Yeah.
And what is he talking about? Stashing, just like holding onto for
Yeah,
later.
in case somebody gets hurt.
Gotcha.
Hold on to all of them if you have them.
I wouldn't. So go get what's his name? Who's the guy on the Bears? Herbert. Go get him.
Herbert.
Yeah.
Yeah, but is he coming back?
Yeah, he's coming back like not this week, but next week or something like that. Come back just in time. Is when he's coming back.
Just in time for that Super Bowl.
All right, well,
I mean, over those two guys, like I don't want either of them because there's for whatever reason they are very focused on Najee Harris. They don't seem to care that he's not doing all that hot.
They're not listening to TikTok.
And the Patriots, like when they get down to that string running back, you don't know who the fuck's gonna run the ball. You don't know who he's gonna hand the ball to. So I wouldn't trust any of that.
He's gonna hand the ball to fucking everybody.
Go get Herbert off of IR. He's injured right now, but he'll be back.
Nice. I hope the answer that you were looking for was somewhere in there, and we hit it just right. All right, we got one more left, or are we done?
One more left.
Okay.
Goat versus Tito.
My 7% playoff chance just went out the window. That's what happened.
Yeah, this
my
one
seven,
was...
My 7% playoff chances were contingent that I win out and that Mary loses out.
And Goat. Mary and Goat both had to lose out.
If I win out, then
if you win out, Goat loses out. Yeah.
You were definitely creeping though. In those 5 weeks we haven't talked.
He said, play my TLC song.
I mean, the remarkable thing about Tito's season is, Tito, you're 5-9, and until this week, you had a shot at being in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And by losing in this last week, now you're in the bottom 4. It's like, how did you go in 1 week from like, I got an outside shot at a playoff spot to, oh no, never mind, I'm in the bottom 4. Like, unreal.
Thank you, Ryan Suckup, for not hitting a field goal and missing an extra point. You fucking dick.
Loser.
But
0
it doesn't matter
points?
because, if I would have won and Mary still wins, and I'm out, wins, I'm still out anyway.
Yeah.
You know, we kind of talked a little bit about San Francisco being a beast before the show, but can we talk about that fucking ass whooping that they put on Tampa Bay this week?
Yeah.
Oh,
goddamn.
Woo!
With Mr. Irrelevant at quarterback.
We were talking before the show. What if Mr. Irrelevant takes the Niners to the Super Bowl and wins the Super Bowl?
I hope so. I hope they do. Fuck it. Because that team is built to win a Super Bowl. And it's almost a quarterback-proof fucking team. Insert guy who doesn't fuck up.
And also, Brock Purdy can float. I've seen it.
He's so Purdy.
He has jet boots or something.
Yeah,
all right.
The one interception he threw got called back. So just don't fuck up. That's all you got to do. Don't fuck up. Toss the ball at Christian McCaffrey and let's see what happens. Just do that, guy.
Yeah. Keep trying that move. See what happens. All right. So that's week 14. It was embarrassing for many of us.
Not for me.
So let us move on. Jose's got our standings following week 14.
No. I'm gonna miss that. No, it's loading.
It's all good.
Come on, man. All right. For the last time in that Butthole Banditos, we have the Turd Fergusons pulling it off at 8-6, holding it down. Slip past Mary's Dagobah Eagles, who ended up 7-7.
She's got one more chance.
5-9.
Yeah, we got one more chance. She got one more chance to get the top spot. So currently, Mary's projected with a 24% chance of making the playoffs.
Yep.
So I'm not out, is what you're saying.
No, you're out. You're out.
You're out as fuck.
The only one who's not in the playoffs who has a chance of getting in is Mary.
Oh, man. Now I'm even sadder.
It was a good try, man. And then Lee at the fucking bottom. Or no, J-Pop at the fucking bottom.
7-game losing streak.
Ooh.
Imagine losing to Lee in the middle of this losing streak. Let's look at Lee's schedule for just a moment here. Hang on. He won week 1. He won week 2. Lost to Mary. Lost to Mel. Lost to Nyes. Lost to Tad. Beat Jose.
Yeah,
Lost
no
to
shit.
Vetter.
Fuck
Lost
you.
to Matt. Lost to me. Lost to
Fuck
Kelly.
you, Lee.
Lost to Goat. Lost to Tito. Lost to Mary.
Ooh. Wow. And he only beat you by 4.
He only beat you by 4. 86.5 to 82.5.
And he only beat me earlier in the season because I told Goat to swap out
Yes.
somebody in his lineup.
That's right. Being a nice
That
guy
is-
fucked you in the ass.
Possibly one of the greatest fantasy football lessons of all time.
Fuck him
Lee
next
beat
time.
you week 2, thanks to Goat, 149 to 124. And if you recall, and I'm sure you do, he was laughing. He was celebrating. He was like, this shit is so easy. Like, you guys all know what you're doing, and I have no idea. And look at what I'm putting up on you.
I won with injured guys in that one.
Lost, win, lost. Like, unreal.
He's got a lot going on, that guy. And you guys did kind of catfish him. Admit it.
We forced him to have fun with his friends.
You keep saying that, but just because we're his friends doesn't mean he's gonna have fun.
You know, I thought, and I think Mahoney was in the same boat here, that once he got a little taste of it and
Right.
he saw that
Well,
it didn't take much effort, because it doesn't take much
We had
effort.
all hoped for that, but we were
it's all numbers.
We all
He
knew
loves
what
numbers.
was gonna happen.
I beat him 110 to 40. That was a good time.
Well, speaking of Mahoney, let's talk about his division.
In the Trouser Seeds, he's at the top, 10-4. Cucked 6. Kelly bought 5,000. Coming in, tied with worst team ever at 7-7. With Shelbyville pulling in the rear at 4-10, the complete opposite of the top. So look at that fucking cookie sandwich.
I tell you what,
Right?
I don't even notice the cucked 6 until I hear Jose say it out loud, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I remember now. Whoops.
And then don't make it weird. Mel riding that 1-game losing streak at 11-3, followed by Nyes at 9-5. Thatcher complete even 7-7, with me pulling in the rear 6-8.
I bet you finished it at 7 and 8 though. I think you got a good chance this week.
Mahoney, is there a possibility if Mel loses and you win, you'll take the number 1 seed, or is that out of the question?
I mean, I suppose. So
well,
he's got 1591 points,
yeah.
and I have 1557. So
Yeah, 34 points difference. So
Could happen.
It could happen. All right. Well, that being said, Tito, what can we expect for week 15?
Week 15 is exactly like week 14. So everybody's matchup is the same this coming week, except, again, there's a few playoff implications, and again, a few. That being Mary and Goat's game. So Goat's game against me, and Mary's game against the chicken skin duffel bags.
well,
So
J-Pop,
against J-Pop / Lee. More like just J-Pop.
The J-Pop duffel bags.
And you're right. And if Mahoney still really wants that number 1 seed, and his matchup matters a lot, which is going against
The
Vetter
J
again.
Skins duffel bags.
Could you? So now you're playing Vetter again. Does Vetter change anything in his approach against you? Does he even try?
If I'm better, I'm all done with fantasy football.
Well, I mean, just
after losing by 100-something points, I'm like, fuck this, I'm all done.
Well,
and
it
I'm
looks
not
like-
even setting
Well,
a
he's
lineup.
made changes to his lineup because he's starting Prescott this week.
Yeah, he's
Well.
got a full starting lineup, and only 2 of his players are projected to outscore Mahoney's.
Yeah.
At position. But
I
still,
made
that's
a bet
only
early
a 10,
on.
10-point difference in projections, so that could go
Yeah.
either way.
I had that 4-game losing streak in the middle of the season. And during that's when I had lost Jamar Chase. And during that streak is when I started looking ahead and was like, okay, I'm going to grab the injured James Conner. And I'm going to grab the injured Hollywood Brown. And like, I'm going to start investing in late season games. And when all those players came back, like, that's when my team really started putting together. And when I found Fields and Lawrence on the waiver wire.
Yeah, Fields was the turning point, and god damn it, because I got caught sleeping.
Yep.
Like you're at
And
a
I do love-
stoplight.
It's fun that Tito set up these 2 weeks at the end of the year where it's, rivalry weeks, because Vetter has been carrying 3 quarterbacks all season. I think to keep them away from me, who needed a quarterback. And so every time my waiver wire trash quarterbacks outscore all 3 of his quarterbacks, I'm like, yeah, how's that working out for you?
So going into the other game that has implications, which is Mary against J-Pop's team. J-Pop picked up Mr. Irrelevant, so he's in his starting lineup.
Good pickup.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
And
we'll
he's,
see. We'll see if Brock Purdy
still-
puts up fucking 25 points next week.
It's the
Mary-
best option he had.
Yeah.
No question.
Mary's projected to win 107 to 97. So
I like your
it's not a
chances.
runaway by projection standards anyway. It's not a runaway game.
Hey, everyone's 2 bullets from out of a job. Anything can change.
It's very true.
If I were Mary, who is not going to listen to this before her teams play, I would look for another option at defense, maybe. See if you got somebody with a better matchup than the Raiders.
I don't know. Raiders Patriots isn't that bad.
Yeah, but
She
you
has
might
the
be able
Raiders, or
to.
she has the Raiders.
You might, yeah, you
She
might
has
be able
the
to get a
Raiders.
couple more points out of a team on the waiver wire. Who knows?
Maybe. She's also got the
Yeah.
Saints versus Atlanta, and I think they have a rookie quarterback going.
They do.
Yeah, that might be the better matchup for her.
Maybe not
Yeah.
have the Raiders defense.
You got the Commanders on the waiver wire.
Anders and the Giants.
I'm going
What you
against
don't
Panthers.
have on the waiver wire is the Chiefs versus Houston, because I picked them up weeks ago, waiting for this specific game.
Oh, nice.
You got to be looking ahead, people. Don't be drafting for the next week. Be drafting for the future.
Houston almost beat. Was it Green Bay they played?
Cowboys.
Cowboys. Yeah, Houston.
Doesn't
almost
even
beat the
matter because
Cowboys.
they still turn the ball over like 70 times. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The real life football results and the fantasy scores, 2
Yeah.
completely different things.
Yeah, I swapped out my kicker, so hopefully I can beat Goat with a better kicker.
Goat's team can be a little hot and cold, even with the win streak. So you got a shot. Mary's not out of it.
I don't know. Goat's team looks like a straight up like all-star team. Just reading it off.
Well,
Except for a couple
Goat's
guys.
team is like a fantasy football history book of halfway through the year being like, oh no, they traded McCaffrey, and then Goat's like, that's fine. I had the backup Carolina running back, so like, and he had Jeff Wilson Jr.
That gave him an extra starting right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Goat found like 2 starting running backs just by sheer luck in the middle of the season that were like already on his roster on his bench, and it was remarkable. Like the way that turned his season around was amazing. But that's how you got to play it. Sometimes you got to throw a dart and hope it lands.
Mhm.
And he threw some darts, and they all hit a bullseye.
Hope it becomes a grenade.
Yep.
So there is one difference that Nines and Jose, you guys are playing against each other this week.
Yes.
Oh. Yep.
I am not playing Tad again, thank you, because I don't think I could have
Right.
taken another loss.
So we have rivalry weekend. Hey, she works
So you
Oh, no, she's
can,
off Sunday.
Jose, you have the opportunity to prevent Nyes from getting double-digit wins this season.
Rude.
Oh
Is that really what you
no,
wanna
not
do?
that.
I didn't realize you two were playing each other. I was saying Jose had the win down when he was playing Mel. I figured he was going to ruin Mel's win streak, but
Well, I'm fucked again now because I think I may have lost Stevenson.
yeah, I think you did.
Yes, that was nasty.
So,
And at
why
this
not?
point in the
Why
season,
not?
I think you can drop OBJ. By the way, I think it's safe.
Yeah.
No, you never know. I might need him in that last place game.
I mean, maybe.
Well, yeah, I don't think he's signing.
No,
It would have happened.
He's not signing. He's not signing.
If
hear his
Cole
knees all
Beasley
fucked
picked
up.
back up on Buffalo instead of OBJ. Yeah,
T.Y. Hilton got picked
yeah,
up.
exactly. I didn't even know he was still fucking even thinking about football.
Yeah. He might not have been. They might have called him.
yeah. Ty, you still healthy?
Healthy enough for the playoffs, motherfucker. I ain't doing that preseason.
Yeah. I'm not going to camp. Just give me a
What you
check.
talking about preseason?
That's a wrap. That's for any significant games anyway. That's a wrap for the coming week.
All right, cool. Fuck it. Well, that'll take us to the 2-minute warning then.
2-minute warning.
Oh. Week 15 coming up. Fucking, it is what it is. Your season.
Yeah. I'm like, week 15. It is what it is.
Final thoughts from Tito.
Well, those making the playoffs are looking ahead, right? So Mahoney's already done a few of those things where you kind of, once you're in, you're not so much paying attention to the week in front of you. You're looking at those playoff weeks to see what you can do to your roster for matchups. Yep. So that's if you haven't done that, that's pretty much done. You should have been doing that. For the rest of us, either we're playing in games that are not significant or we're trying to avoid that last place spot in our league. And that's unfortunately where I'm at. So I had the same trajectory as Mel. Mel won and then went into the loser bracket, and I am doing the same exact thing. So it's the curse of the belt.
It's hard to get that last draft spot and turn it into something, good. It's tough.
All right, Mahoney, what do you think?
I mean, Tito touched on it. You got to be looking ahead, right? Like, this is the time to be picking up those long shot handcuff type players for the playoff weeks. Like, whoever you're going to play in week 15 is already on your roster. And if you are not going to play a bench player in week 15 or either of the playoff rounds, then what are they doing on your roster?
Mm-hmm.
Start pulling lottery tickets. And if one of those pays off, you might win your whole league.
Love it. Jose, tell me something.
Kind of leaning in with Mahoney and Tito is now is the game of matchups. Not all, that looking ahead is that picking up that guy that you knew was playing the worst run defense in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
In the conference finals to go to the Super Bowl and the playoffs. Like, that's where you see the teams separate themselves in the playoffs. Who came a little more prepared as opposed to who limped in, who just got lucky, who is ready for the playoffs. Watch those lineups, watch those matchups. Like, I'll tell you what, who Justin Fields plays against in the Super Bowl?
Who?
Detroit Lions.
Oh.
You know what that means?
It's cold.
Lots of fucking points for Mahoney. Don't be surprised.
I just got to get through that first round. I get through that first. My matchups in the first round are not as good as the second round. But if I can get through the first round, Jose's touching on it. My second round matchups look real nice.
That Super Bowl week looks pretty.
Justin Field versus the 32nd ranked defense. Connor versus 22nd, Brown versus 27th, Watson versus the 31st, Engram versus the 19th, Chase versus the 20th, the Chiefs versus the 29th. Like, I am feeling real good about that second week of the playoffs. I just have to get through the first one.
Just gotta make it there.
Is this the closest we've ever come to a Mahoney championship?
No, I finished second that year against Jose.
Right. That's right. That rivalry.
Oh,
Yeah,
the winds of
the winds of
change. Fate. Oh, the goddamn. Those are some
was a
good
good year.
times. Those are wonderful memories
Mm-hmm.
that can never be taken.
Why
Just
do you
made
never
into a
know it's
shirt.
the good old days when you're in them? Be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to Panels on Pages on YouTube at youtube.com/panelsonpages. Listen to Pop Fantasy Football live every 5 weeks and chat with us in real time. Also,
who knows?
listen.
5 weeks from now, we may have a new owner.
Hell yeah. Listen to the Panels on Pages podcast live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern. We have been doing that show, and we've been watching some holiday bullshit for the past 2 weeks, which was really fun. Look that up on YouTube. And then next week, we're watching Home Alone 2 in the Discord, and then putting that up on all of our, podcast places, whatever the fuck you call them.
Wherever you like to listen to a
Yeah,
podcast.
and
Internets?
wherever you like to listen to your podcasts and such, be sure to download Pop Fantasy Football on your favorite podcast app. We got merch at merch.panelsonpages.com, and like I mentioned before, we're going to be watching Home Alone 2 in the Pop Discord, and you can join the Pop Discord at discord.panelsonpages.com and get involved in the discussion in the Pop Fantasy Football channel. We'll leave you with some parting words, as always. Parting woods?
Woods.
We'll leave you with some...
We will leave you with all the woods.
Marriage.
We will leave you with some parting words from
When
the
the
late...
wide receiver gets married.
From the late,
6.
great John Madden. You'll shoot your eye out, kid. On behalf of Tito Cruz, Dan Mahoney, Jose Guzman, and myself, Jason Nyes, thanks for joining us for the Pop Fantasy Football 2022 Week 14 recap. Good luck to everyone in this league and beyond, and we will see you next week.
ESPN, the global leader in sports. The whole thing's fucked.